Not being a Game of Thrones fan today feels like being a non-football fan on Super Bowl Sunday.
I thought it was thundering outside until I realized everyone in my building was just blasting Game of Thrones. Went from not being a fan to watching season 17 in 2 weeks. Never thought of it like this. But I finally understand how non-football fans feel the whole season. I'm rooting for and posting about my team. Same with non-Marvel fans when Endgame comes out. Did someone die?
Our parents warned us for years about the dangers of the internet while knowing nothing about it. Then finally dove in and fell for every single one.
Every time you watch YouTube, it slows the internet down and ruins the computer. My dad, who has like 50 toolbars and never used incognito for anything, so his history was full of strange porn and him always clicking on these hot girl in your area things. My mom gave lectures to my kids about using Roblox and the like. She won't have any PayPal or eBay account in case someone gets my details. Fills in every online survey that offers as much as a 50p off coupon. Then wonders why she gets phone calls from random companies. When I was around 10, I installed Minecraft on my mom's laptop with her permission. 6 years later, I still hear how it's Minecraft that's slowing her computer down. It's been gone for 4+ years. And every time I look at her computer, she's installed some Minecraft Nook or some other shit. If I told them to stop clicking on viruses, they would get defensive and wholeheartedly deny it even with an ad on their phone's lock screen. Your video games are giving us viruses. Proceeds to install 27 toolbars.
200 years ago, people would never have guessed that humans in the future would communicate by silently tapping on glass.
Morse was invented around 190 years ago. They were tapping on metal things. I mean, if you frame the ideal a phone like that, then no one 50 years ago would guess that. I was halfway through typing that I had no idea what this post meant when my finger brushed against my cracked screen and I had a light bulb moment. If you spend all day shuffling words around, you can make anything sound bad. Morty, for example. 200 years ago, humans used to communicate by scribbling on tree corps. Go back 200 years and say, in my pocket I possess a device that has access to the wealth of knowledge of mankind at the press of a button. I use it to look up pictures of cats and argue with strangers.
When you buy pizza from a place that sells it by the slice, you're essentially having a pizza party with a bunch of strangers that day.
This is as close as I'll get to having friends or going to a party. When you buy milk from the store, you're drinking from the same cow titty as the others around you. In hotels or giant slumber parties, you need at least one other element to make it a party. I deliver pizza for a place that sells walk-in slices and I get a free slice every shift, so I guess I have pizza parties with strangers every weekend.
Looking for a job is about convincing a bunch of Mr. Krabs that you're a SpongeBob when you're actually a Patrick, until you slowly become Squidward.
For me, it's more convincing them I'm a SpongeBob while actually being a Squidward and then turning out to be Patrick once I start. I feel like I would understand the world better if more things were explained using SpongeBob analogies. The goal is to be like Mrs. Puff. Put in the hours, try to be nice, go home. My strategy is to frick Mr. Krabs. After 10 years, I'm still a Patrick beaming face with smiling eyes.
Vanilla becoming the default flavor of ice cream is the greatest underdog story of all time.
Fun fact, vanilla, the real stuff, has a similar price to silver. I think the most tragic ice cream flavor story is that of grape. Doesn't really exist, test markets hate it. And it doesn't do well on mass production because the water content makes for tons of ice crystals that give the ice cream a horrible texture and will get freezer burn easily, so it doesn't keep well. So sad. For those who haven't tried it, flavorless ice cream is massively underrated. If you go to a small ice cream shop, They usually sell it as sweet cream flavor. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the silver. Really lively conversation about this. I'm not sure why I'm seeing responses like this. But I am not talking about just shaved ice. Yeah, sweet cream is just sweetened cream flavor. But just enjoying the ice cream base that flavors get spiked into really let me appreciate how its flavors are built into the food. Vanilla has always been my favorite. Lots of people use vanilla as a synonym for plain or boring, but I think it's delicious. Is it? What's the story?
Your salary is your company's monthly subscription fee of you.
Subscription for watching someone sit on Reddit all day. Company got screwed over. I keep upping the subscription fee every 2 years for new customers. Whoa, I must not be very popular. They could get the premium version of me if they just shell out a little more money. Edit. Thanks for gold, silver, kind strangers. Too bad premium only unlocks for platinum level members. Edit 2. Well shit. That's a platinum. Guess I gotta start working harder now. I give my work loot boxes. Sometimes it's an industry-defining change. Usually it's just me coming in late, leaving early, and talking and drinking coffee.
Comic-Con is the best way to see what your favorite characters would look like if they let themselves get out of shape.
Or if they were Deadpool. Also a good place to see characters who never were good-looking suddenly is WAAAAY too good-looking. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. It is now my most upvoted comment. Wah. Or find out how a slutty Freddy Krueger or Jabba the Hutt would look like. Or if they were a hot girl. On the other hand, cosplay can be good motivation for geeks to get in shape. Ben Swallow _will_ happen. God damn it.
Tom and Jerry are best friends. But Tom has to pretend to hate Jerry in order to protect Jerry. So Tom's owner doesn't replace Tom with a cat that actually wants to kill Jerry.
Aren't there a few episodes where they actually show that they are friends and do actually pretend to hate each other because of the owner? Wasn't this the actual plot? They become friends in the movie. Don't do this to me. Why the brackets though?
Someone just decided blue ink pens were equally as acceptable as black and everyone just played along.
I work in a bank. And when we scan checks written in pink or orange ink, they're not legible most of the time, as the widespread use of blue ink predates photocopiers and even photography. I assume it has to do with availability and properties. I think that the ink that stays legible for the longest with the least expensive ingredients just happen to be blue. Hence its widespread adoption. Bankers used to use green ink. I've seen old bank documents in green ink and it's sexy as frick. Blue ink used to allow you to know a signature was original instead of a copy. Black and white copiers turned blue to black. Blue ink became widespread as an affordable writing ink you could buy first. We kind of just kept it around. Before that it was largely just mixing things yourself. Personally, I've never really liked writing in black ink.
At a certain point in your life, sitting at home alone, watching TV on a Friday night goes from being super depressing to the most enjoyable part of your week.
Don't forget about not setting an alarm and sleeping in the next morning. Nothing better than a Saturday morning with absolutely no plans. Your weekdays are your recovery from your weekend until a point when your weekend becomes your recovery from your weekdays. Never been depressing for me. I love doing shit by myself just as much as with friends. It's entirely about balance. When you spend the whole week alone watching TV, it's the worst thing to be alone doing more of it. When you never get to do it at all, it's the best thing for you. All things in moderation. I have a 5-year-old son and a 7-year-old son. They still think I am better than Superman. I know it won't last forever, but I'm enjoying their company more than I ever did going out with friends and partying.
Male country singers talk about how good they are to women, while female country singers talk about how terrible the men are.
Back in my day, countrymen sang about barbecue stains on their white shirt. Some of them sing about that bitch Jolene that steals men away. What about songs about the ranger with the big iron on his hip? Edit. Holy frick, I guess Reddit really likes New Vegas. Edit 2. Of course this is the thing I get gold for. And then there's Darius Rucker who says, I'm sorry, every song, and Sarah Evans who says, this guy's pretty good in every song. Well, I was drunk the day my mom got out of prison, and I went to pick her up in the RAAAAAIINNNN. Quote.